The Paramatta Light Rail Project, a project evaluation. Introducing Mariam Al-Mayahi.
Hi, today I will be representing about Paramatta Light Rail project. This presentation focuses on the involvement of Donna EDI, an Australian engineering and infrastructure company, in the construction of the Paramatta Light Rail project. This is a project funding contract worth 2.4 billion and scheduled to be completed by the end of 2023. The project involves in several activities such as the construction and operation of the new light rail system and roadworks and modification to the existing bus network. The New South Wales government has outlined a set of standard construction stages for the Paramatta Light Rail project, such as planning and design, preparation on the construction site, utility investigation, construction of the light rail tracks, and light rail station construction.
Hey guys, my name is Mohammed Balagi and I'll be going through Downer's financial status to see if they can meet their short-term financial obligations. As you know, the financial information has been sourced from the 2022 annual report on Downer's website. Let's get started. Now, Downer has a high debt ratio of 62% and is considered as highly leveraged, meaning most of its assets are financed through debt rather than equity. They also have a current ratio of 1.1, meaning the company is just able to cover its short-term financial obligations. Further, Downer has a total asset turnover of 1.5, meaning the company utilizes its assets very efficiently to generate revenue. Now, the average ROE in Europe from 2019 to 2020 is 15%. Downer has a return on equity of 0.05 or 5%, which is considered low. This indicates the company does not efficiently use shareholder equity to create revenue. The average PE ratio for the construction industry is 15. Downer has a PE ratio of 14.4, meaning investors are willing to capitalize on Downer's shares and therefore may believe in the future growth of the company. Thus, given their ability to control and cover their current financial obligations, it can be concluded Downer has the financial means to continue conducting the Paramatta Light Rail project. Further, a cash flow forecast should be conducted to assess Downer's financial ability in relation to alternatives A and B. I'll pass this on to Mariam to discuss these two alternatives.
So the alternative for this project is Alternative A is aimed that Donna undertake the Paramatta Light Rail project. This initiative aims to increase the accessibility for Paramatta residents, potentially attracting the more tourists and contributing to an increase in the local population. The alternative B is suggests that Donna should undertake upgrade works on existing infrastructure that rather than constructing a new light rail system.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayub and I'll be discussing the costs of alternatives A and B. The costs of alternative A include initial investment, land acquisition, maintenance costs, and staff wages. The initial investments for alternative A is $2.4 billion. This includes the costs that are required for the project management, design, construction materials, and construction stage of entirety of the project. The land acquisition costs $53.5 million and the operating cost is around $97 million per year. So over a 3-year period, it comes down to $300 million. The maintenance cost is $86.7 million, with an additional $18.4 million for other works and costs. The staff wages will be around $80,000 per employee per year. For alternative B, the land acquisition cost will be zero as it is assumed that there will be no new construction. However, the maintenance cost will be approximately $50,000 per year and it will also have the same staff wages as alternative A. Ihsan will now discuss the benefits for both alternatives.
Thanks, Ayub. My name is Isan, and I'll be presenting to you the benefits of the alternates A and B. So, alternate A is choosing to proceed with a light rail project. A benefit is that it makes Parramatta more easily accessible, with almost all regions being able to be accessed by public transport. It also lowers the pollution levels, as now the main mode of transport around Parramatta will now become public transport, and this eliminates the need for cars or other personal forms of transport. And it's also the cheaper alternative. There's increased opportunities for businesses as the Parramatta Light Rail will attract more people to Parramatta, and the New South Wales government predicts over 130,000 individuals to live right next to the light rail stops. There's ongoing financial benefits for Downer, with ongoing and scheduled maintenances being around $87 million a year. So alternate B is choosing to invest in the current infrastructure, and this will save an immediate $2.4 billion of taxpayers' money. There's also less pedestrian traffic at train stations and bus stops. Residents won't have to, endure and experience construction activities and road closures in front of their homes. Thank you, and I'll be passing it on to Mariam now.
Thank you, Ihsan. The alternative A for cash flow statement, Paramatta Light Rail, the initial capital investment of 2.4 billion investment, construction costs, potential additional expense for bonds and inflation. The ongoing costs is 20 million a year funded by the New South Wales government for operating and maintenance. The cash flow for revenue advertising expected to be 29 million a year, adjusted for inflation and operating costs. The alternative B can be generate substantial contracts revenue and recurring cash flow for donor EDI. The positive cash flow from operating activities and revenue streams. However, it can be cause delay in cash inflow risk, and that may take a risk associated with infrastructure projects. I'll pass this to Ayub now.
Thanks, Mariam. The payback period for Alternative A is 13 years. However, for Alternative P, upgrading the existing structure does not have a fixed cost. It is assumed they will have an extra cost of around $1.3 million per year. This is mostly due to the operating cost, which includes vehicle maintenance and employee salaries. Also, Sydney public transport only generates 10% of the operating cost per year. Thus, the payback period for this alternative cannot be determined. The net present value for Alternative A is around $130 million, assuming a discount rate of 8.5% and a time period of 13 years. For Alternative B, the initial operating cost will be $1.3 million a year and a discount rate of 2%. The NPV would be $809,000. Ihsan will now explain the rest of the other viability indicators.
Thanks, Ayub. My name is Isan, and I'll be talking to you guys about the viability indicators for alternate A and B. So for alternate A, by using the initial cash inflows as well as the predicted cash flows over the years, the initial rate of return of the IRR for the project is estimated to be around 10%. So for alternate A as well, we look at the benefit to cost ratio, and the present value of the net benefit for this project is approximated to be $11.1 billion, and the initial investment cost is $2.4 billion. So hence the BCR is 4.65, and since the ratio is greater than 1, it's economically viable. Now we'll look at alternate B. The initial rate of return, since this project in this alternate is not being a constant deficit, the initial rate of return cannot be determined. However, the benefit to cost ratio for this project includes the present value of the net benefit, which is around $170,000, and the initial investment cost, which is 1.3 million. So the BCR is calculated to be around 1.3. So the ratio is less than 1. Therefore, the project is not economically workable. I'm going to pass it on now to James. Thank you.
Hi, I'm James, and I'll be speaking about the qualitative risks posed to the Paramatta Light. In order to provide a more comprehensive assessment of the risks posed to this project.
Thank you, James. Mohammed speaking. Let's go through some recommendations we can offer to Downer, some weaknesses identified in the analysis, and to offer suggestions for further analysis that Downer can conduct. Now, by assessing cash flow statements, conducting a financial evaluation for both alternatives, and analyzing the variable, qualitative, and quantitative risks associated with Alternative A, it is quite evident that Alternative A is the more viable option. Thus, Downer should undertake the Paramatta Light Rail project. It is also evident through the conducted analysis that the Paramatta Light Rail can enhance the company's financial status. It presents an opportunity for Downer to generate significant revenue, benefiting their financial performance due to the project's scale and duration, and also presents a 10% internal rate of return. This is also a drastically higher benefit to cost ratio of 4.65, making the project the cost-effective alternative. Now, since Downer's shareholder equity revenue is lacking, retaining this profit and investing it in shareholder equity growth strategies is recommended. Additionally, successfully delivering the project can strengthen Downer's industry reputation, visibility, and market presence, paving the way for increased opportunities, future contracts, and potential revenue growth. Thus, it is recommended for Downer to forecast and solidify its position in the future market by studying existing and emerging competitors as well. However, inflation is a big issue, especially in these financial times. Now, this can lead to increased costs for labor, equipment, materials, financing, and this can potentially impact Downer's project budgets and profitability. Now, to address these challenges, project stakeholders, including Downer, would need to employ financial risk management and contingency strategies specific to the Paramatta Light Rail project. These strategies can involve proactive contract negotiations to incorporate inflation escalation clauses found in the transport specs. They can also conduct regular cost assessments and adjustments, as well as collaborate with funding agencies like the government to address potential funding shortfalls. That's it for this presentation, and we thank you for your time and attention.